From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Tonight on Cronkite News, after Equifax, the latest in a line of major personal information leaks, the city of Phoenix held a cybersecurity summit. What you need to know to protect yourself tonight.
Plus, the Valley School teamed up with Apple on a $20 million project grant. How the school is using the grant to enhance its students' learning.
And you won't find a normal bartender at this Scottsdale wine bar. The digital upgrade that is changing the bar business tonight.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Blakely McHugh.
And I'm Lysandra Marquez. Thank you for joining us. Between 21 and 22,000 DACA recipients failed to submit their status renewal applications before the October 5th deadline. Now, those who didn't renew will likely see their permits expire by March 5th, 2018. Cronkite News reporter Fraser Allen Best was at a Center for American Progress panel, which discussed what's next for DACA recipients who are also college students.
Shapri Lamoglio represents the Council for Christian Colleges and Universities. She says that when students on her campuses are faced with a looming DACA deadline, they take action.
We've seen them having immigration lawyers to campus to help give advice and information to students.
The center is calling on colleges to support DACA recipients with legal services, private scholarships, and other resources. The DACA program is set to expire in March, a deadline that weighs heavily in Arizona, which has the nation's fourth largest percentage of DACA recipients in its population. Arizona's policy of offering in-state tuition to DACA recipients who live in the state is being challenged in the courts, but the Board of Regents said it will continue offering in-state tuition until there's a final ruling from the Arizona Supreme Court. Juan Bellman, a student advocate at the University of Texas, stresses the importance of DACA recipients being eligible for equal tuition, something guaranteed in his own state.
In 2001, we were able to have HB 1403 that allows undocumented students to access higher education, pay in-state tuition, and be able to receive Texas grants.
Bellman thinks states are overlooking the potential boon that can come with making education more accessible.
Many of them don't know the reality and the benefits college has. So I think it's a matter of understanding more the issue and the benefits that will come with having and allowing undocumented students to have access to those same opportunities.
In Washington, Fraser Allen Best, Cronkite News.
Right now, Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego is meeting with young immigrants about DACA in downtown Phoenix. Gallego says he's committed to pushing policies locally and nationally to protect Dreamers. About 32,000 people in Arizona had protections under the Obama-era policy, which deferred deportation for undocumented children.
Equifax, Yahoo, Target, your personal information is at risk. The city of Phoenix put on a cybersecurity summit to help make people aware of how to protect themselves and their children.
Don't let your children cross a busy freeway. The internet is just a high-speed freeway. It's not a safe place. So you need to be able to understand what rules you'd like to have on the internet and protect your family, your children from the predators that are out there on the internet.
Stanka says parents should monitor what their children are doing online. She also recommends that your passwords contain special characters, upper and lowercase letters, as well as setting up credit monitoring and online banking alerts. The Arizona Attorney General's office provides many resources for protecting your identity. You can find a list of tips and links at azag.gov/identity theft.
The Crane School District has partnered with Apple on a $20 million project grant to help enhance students' learning. Marcio Pong is in the broadcast center with more on how the school is implementing the grant.
iPad Air 2s for each of the students, Apple TVs for each classroom, and 3 years of Apple Care Plus for all of the devices are just some of the features 9 schools in the Crane School District received through the Apple Connect Ed project.
It's just easy because you get to learn it on the iPad.
Ava Wagers is a 3rd grader at H.L. Silvercrest Elementary School, and her tablet is her textbook.
I like it. It's fun and you get to learn stuff.
The Apple Connect Ed project grant is designed to provide schools with the best technology for students to help them learn individually.
It's really about transforming education. When I grew up, there weren't devices, there weren't electronics, there wasn't even the World Wide Web. We didn't have the internet. And that's what these devices allow us to do.
Apple's up.
Teacher Brianna Spangler has been using iPads in the classroom for the past 3 years. She hopes that Apple will continue to uphold the grant.
We're really trying to show Apple everything that we've been doing, what the students have been creating, how it's taking their learning further. So we're trying to demonstrate everything that we can in order to continue to have it, because it's making such a difference in these kids' lives. Try to get the highest score you can on those 3s.
She says the project is already making a difference in the students' creativity level and the way they think.
It was a resounding yes from the children, that it made such a difference in how they learned, but they gave great examples of what these devices were able to do to help them learn. So we know as educators that it's from the mouth of children.
Not a lot of these kids know what a submarine is, but with the iPads, we can quickly look it up, research it, know what it does, know what it looks like.
To help them with their high-tech lesson plans, Apple also gave the teachers MacBook Air laptops.
2 and 1.
This is the third and final year of the project. Once the grant ends in May, the school district will be able to keep the devices, but will have to repair and replace the devices on their own. In the broadcast center, Marcia Opong, Cronkite News.
Today is the final day for cities to apply to be the home of Amazon's newest headquarters, HQ2. And Phoenix, Mesa, and Chandler have all submitted bids as part of a valley-wide mission to land the tech giant. Tucson has also submitted a proposal. Amazon is looking for a metropolitan city with more than 1 million people, with easy access to international airport and a business-friendly economy that could house 50,000 high-paying jobs. The company is expecting to spend $5 billion in order to build HQ2. Amazon is expected to announce its location choice next year.
This is one bartender you don't have to tip. Cronkite News reporter Tim Johns was in Scottsdale to see how automation is affecting the restaurant and bartending business.
This is Sorso Wine Room in Scottsdale Quarter, and this is its automated wine dispenser. Sorso's co-owner Mark Tian says he was on vacation with his wife in Italy after retiring from professional baseball when he first came across this type of technology.
Didn't have much experience with Italian wine, so we really enjoyed our experience of going through and tasting a bunch of different varietals. So ultimately, when we decided to go down the path of opening a wine bar, this idea was kind of the center of that.
And it's not just Sorso. Automated alcohol dispensers are popping up all over the valley and across the country. Market Watch says that bartending could be the next job to become automated.
Many establishments cite things such as time, money, and efficiency as some of the reasons why they're choosing to go automated.
It's quicker for consumers, but will consumers miss that interaction with their friendly neighborhood barkeep? Joey Mills-Villegas, the general manager at Sorso, says they're still keeping that personal connection.
I think people do go out for conversation and human interaction. I think people could just cook at home if they wanted to avoid it that much.
Since right now the automated machines only dispense wine and beer, not being able to provide mixed drinks are often mentioned as one of the drawbacks of automated bartenders. But being able to get yourself a glass of cheap Chardonnay without the bartender looking down his nose at you could be priceless. In Scottsdale, Tim Johns, Cronkite News.
Sorso's automated wine dispenser has 32 wines from around the world for customers to choose from. For members of the autistic community, living on your own is not something that always comes easily.
But one Valley organization is working to change this. Coming up on Cronkite News, how this organization is helping the autistic community develop the skills they need to integrate into society.
Plus, one Valley teen shares with us their struggle growing up as a member of the LGBTQ community.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and today is Wear Purple Day to raise awareness for domestic violence victims. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nearly 1 in 4 women in the United States have been the victim of severe physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. The Community Alliance Against Family Abuse is encouraging people to post pictures of friends, family, and coworkers wearing purple.
But that isn't the only reason people are wearing purple today. Today is Spirit Day, an annual LGBTQ awareness day created in response and to bring attention to bullying-related suicides of LGBTQ youth. For members of this community, growing up can be an emotional and physical battle. Mia Atkins sat down with a 19-year-old who went through this struggle.
When I came out, my family basically said, we can't accept you.
Sam Stoss was designated female at birth. As a child, he began to question his gender. The now 19-year-old college student said the biggest obstacle growing up was the lack of acceptance from some relatives and friends.
But it was rough, you know, not having that support from extended family.
Tammy Stoss, Sam's mother, said she and Sam's sibling accepted him, but his aunts and uncles asked her, how could she allow her 14-year-old to transition?
How we dealt with it, we drew a line in the sand. And we said, listen, this is our family, this is who we are.
Dr. Vinnie Chulani of Phoenix Children's Hospital says that transgender children need a safe space. The hospital runs a gender management program for gender nonconforming, gender questioning, and transgender youth to support their physical, mental, and social health.
When young people feel connected and supported and affirmed by their families, it makes a whole lot of difference in terms of physical outcomes, in terms of emotional and social health outcomes.
Sam Stoss remembers the reaction of a close friend when they were in 8th grade.
I was kind of playing with the idea of I could be a boy one day. And I had mentioned that to her, and she's like, well, you're not a boy, and you never will be, and I can't be your friend.
His mother offered comfort through his struggles.
It was really hard to watch. As a parent, to see your kid not have any friends and not know where they fit in.
Dr. Chulani said that being treated like an outsider can be deadly.
There's about a 40% rate of suicide attempts within the transgender community, and I think really finding that kind of social acceptance and support is critical.
Sam was 14 years old when he began his physical transition. He has a message of hope for other young people who are transgender.
You can do it, like, you really can. People will, and people do.
Resources like Arizona Trans Youth and Parent Organization are among several Arizona organizations that are available to help people in transition. In Phoenix, Mia Atkins, Cronkite News.
Good manners and living on your own are things often taken for granted, but members of the autistic community, these things don't always come easily. And Kiriko Marinier talked to First Place, an organization that's working to give these adults the skills they need to successfully integrate into society.
Joanna Bernosky takes great pride in her work at Phoenix-based Omni Bioceutical Innovations.
By looking at the back of the bottle and making sure everything's straight and completely pressed.
Bernosky participates in the First Place Transition Academy, a program through the Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center, or SARC, that trains adults with autism and helps them find jobs with companies like Omni.
I think that there is a large population that's coming of age, and I think it's a human mandate that we have to create these opportunities for these young adults.
SARC will soon provide housing as well. Collaborating with First Place, construction on a 4-story complex with 56 units is well underway and is expected to welcome tenants next spring.
Contractors say that everything about this building is deliberate, from its location to its inside features, such as extra soundproof walls and mild muted colors to cater to the sensory needs of their future residents.
First Place founder and CEO Denise Resnick says the new apartments are a necessary step to getting adults on the spectrum ready for the real world.
It's there to help support individuals so that they can learn how to better live more independently and then perhaps move on to their next place.
For Bernosky, her dreams go far beyond Phoenix, Arizona.
My dream job is to work for the Walt Disney Company, since I love Disney.
She feels that the First Place program will help her gain the skills she needs to reach her goals. In Phoenix, in Kiriko Marnia, Cronkite News.
The First Place Transition Academy program accepts 32 participants a year with classes that teach things such as manners and travel.
The wildfires across the state of California have done a tremendous amount of damage.
And One Valley University is coming together to help out. Coming up on Cronkite News, how Grand Canyon University is raising money to help with the relief effort.
And we have beautiful temperatures coming up here in Phoenix. Stay tuned for your full 7-day forecast.
What are you doing? Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
This fall.
I'm so excited!
What? From the inspiring to the amazing.
You're in the presence of history.
The compelling.
He said, welcome home. It was just a powerful moment.
To the astounding.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
And from the breathtaking.
This is real.
A journey to Mars.
To the electrifying.
We're going to change the world.
All this and more. All this fall.
Oh my God!
Fridays, it's at Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for at Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
As wildfires continue to cause catastrophic damage in California, Arizona Senators John McCain and Jeff Flake filed an amendment to help fund the U.S. Forest Service's wildfire management account. This year, wildfires cost the country $2 billion, making 2017 the most expensive wildfire year on record.
According to California's insurance commissioner, estimates of the damage caused by the wildfires in Northern California are currently over $1 billion. Grand Canyon University's men's basketball team is trying to do its part to help support the victims of the fires. Reporter Ryan Curry is live at GCU with the latest on their charity efforts. Ryan?
The NCAA recently allowed each university to play one college basketball game for charity. Now, GCU announced this week that its men's basketball team will travel north to play the Nevada Wolfpack this Sunday in Reno, with proceeds benefiting the Northern California wildfire victims. And for some of the members on the Lopes, this game is very personal.
My family hasn't been evacuated, but my little brothers and sisters had to be told to miss school, and everybody had to stay in the house.
GCU guard Damari Milstead is a native of Oakland, California, about 50 miles south of Napa Valley, where the wildfires first started. When he first heard about the fires, he immediately checked on his family.
I was shocked. First thing I did was call my parents, see if they was okay. I didn't really know where the fire was at, so I was shocked, but I was also praying for the people who got affected by these things. I know schools got shut down, schools got burnt up, so it was a real sad moment.
The wildfires in Northern California have burned over 200,000 acres and left 41 people dead. The smoke from the fire made its way to the San Francisco Bay Area, causing alarm for GCU guard Oscar Frere, whose mother works at Chabot College in Hayward, a few miles south of Oakland.
My mom FaceTimed me the other day, and she was like, because she works at a community college out there, it was right in the midst of the smoke, and it was terrible, it was ridiculous.
The Lopes tip off their first season of NCAA postseason eligibility next month. But for now, Milstead is focused on what this game means off the court.
We're ready to compete against other people, so we're just ready, but it does make us, think about things in life and things like that. But we just ready. We just glad we can participate in this cause.
Admission to the game this weekend is $5, and all proceeds will benefit the North Bay Fire Relief Victims Fund. Live at Grand Canyon University, I'm Ryan Curry, Cronkite News.
Even as we get further into the fall season, it still feels pretty warm outside.
Hopefully some cooler temperatures are on the horizon. Holly Bach is in the Weather Center with a look at your weekend forecast.
We are currently sitting at a warm 92 degrees here in Phoenix. It is still partly cloudy out there, remaining from this morning when we did see very high cloud coverage, giving us those nice cool temperatures we saw this morning. Speaking of cool temperatures, it is currently 66 in Show Low, 66 as well in Flagstaff, and 68 in the Grand Canyon, 91 down south in Tucson. Looking around our valley, we're seeing temperatures still in the 90s. We have 92 in Chandler, 92 in Scottsdale, and 89 degrees in Cave Creek. These temperatures are going to continue to go down as we hit 9 p.m. tonight. We're going to see Laveen at 80 degrees, Scottsdale at 81, and Cave Creek at 76 degrees. Going into our weekend, we are going to have nice, cool temperatures. Our high on Friday is 88 degrees, and Saturday 86 degrees. However, going into our week, these are going to skyrocket right back up there. Sunday, we're going to start at 93 degrees, and we're going to go all the way up to 98 degrees on Tuesday, with our lows in the 70s and low to mid 60s. I'm Holly Bach from the Weather Center.
The Phoenix Suns started their 50th season last night.
But one former Sun star is making a difference off the court. Coming up on Cronkite News, the original Suns Gorillas transition from an NBA mascot to a motivational speaker.
The new weekly show where we tackle the taboo and debate the tough questions with some of the most interesting minds in the game. I'm Carlos Watson, electrifying conversation. Friday, only on PBS.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Exploring, it's the lifeblood of the mission.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Just because an idea is crazy, it's not necessarily wrong.
We were on our way.
You don't get anywhere until you've tested the limits.
That carries an intensity you can't imagine.
You could hear people just, whoa.
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
It's a rush. We ask a lot of our heroes.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
I'm Hari Srinivasan. On the next News Hour, Troubled Waters, a powerful documentary on lead in school drinking fountains across the country. That's Thursday on the PBS News Hour.
Cronkite News is proud to be a part of the PBS family, and today PBS NewsHour anchors Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill were honored with the 2017 Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism. It's the highest honor from ASU's Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Judy Woodruff and Gwen Ifill were the first paired female co-anchors for a national evening broadcast show, a journalism milestone. A video highlighting the careers of the two played during the luncheon. Ifill passed away last year, and in her place, her brother Roberto Ifill accepted her award. During Woodruff's acceptance speech, she called out President Trump for continuously discrediting journalists.
He built a campaign and now an administration by calling most news fake and most journalists enemies of the American people. I am not an enemy of the American people. That is not true.
Past recipients of the Cronkite Award include Diane Sawyer, Bob Woodward, and last year's honoree, Scott Pelley.
Finally tonight, the Phoenix Suns could use a little motivation after suffering the worst loss in franchise history last night to open the season. Meanwhile, the man behind the mask of the original Suns gorilla is on a different motivational mission. Reporter Sky Merida explains.
Henry Rojas went from making a living where he rarely said a word to now being an inspirational speaker. Rojas, the original gorilla for the Phoenix Suns, transitioned from being an NBA mascot to becoming the chaplain of the Calvary Addiction Recovery Center in Phoenix, in a move that would seem unpredictable to many. But Rojas' journey to becoming the mascot was anything but predictable.
I was doing a part-time job with a company called Eastern Onion Singing Telegram Service, and somebody ordered a telegram and paid extra for the person to wear a gorilla suit, and I reluctantly went, hoping I could get it over with and then take the suit off and watch the rest of the game, but I was already visible. They started playing music and started dancing, and that was the first time out there. Crowd just loved the dancing.
As the gorilla, Rojas brought cheer to NBA fans across the globe. Now as a speaker, Rojas talks to addicts, high school students, and others in need. And former Suns ball boy Ronnie Williams believes that it's the man beneath the mask that's truly changed people's lives for the better.
When you can sit and listen to Henry Rojas talk about the blessings and the gift and the different things that he's going to share, man, it's mind-blowing.
Rojas is currently working on a book called Belong, Believe, and Behave, emphasizing his belief that we all belong. Okay. In Tempe, Sky Merida, Cronkite News.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.